Good morning, BST. My name is Elijah Abdul Sayed, and welcome to this episode of BST Talks.
Hello, Cowboys. I'm the co-host of this podcast, Brady Volkman. Today, we'll start a new series of BST Talks, what to study for finals and AP tests.
In this three-part series, we will interview each BST teacher, ask them about what topics and concepts are most important to know and to study for each class they are teaching to best be prepared for finals and AP tests. Today, we will interview Ms. Viste, Ms. Parker, Ms. Bouchard, and Mr. Huxell.
First, we will interview Ms. Viste, who teaches AI and Med and AP Biology. For each class you teach, what topics and concepts are the most important to know for the AP test and finals?
The only AP class I teach is going to be AP Biology, and there's 8 main topics, and they range from microbiology to macrobiology. I'm talking about environmental science, and they're all each broken up into different percentage of how much is going to be on the AP exam, and I think the biggest percentage is going to be Unit 8 and 7, which has to do with natural selection, ecology, and then the next one is Unit 6, and then the rest of the test is broken up between Unit 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the bigger ones are going to be Unit 6, 7, and 8, and those are going to be good focuses.
What is the format for the finals and AP tests for the classes that you teach?
For AP Biology, their final for second semester is going to be one final project, and for the actual AP test, it's going to compose of 60 multiple choice that they have 90 minutes to take, and then they have, I believe, 6 FRQs that they also have 90 minutes.
What do you believe are the best methods to study for the finals and AP tests for the classes you teach?
For sure, I think the best method is going to be just practicing and exposing yourself to the type of questions that AP exams are going to ask, whether that's through AP Classroom or the Barron's or the Princeton AP Biology books, and really just get into how do these questions look like, are the concepts actually applied to the questions versus focusing too much on just knowing the content, because the questions aren't straightforward and you have to really think about them. So it's better to just get used to how those questions are being asked, and then practicing the timing, because timing is very, very important, because the test goes very, very, very fast, and a lot of students run out of time, especially on that FRQ section.
Is there anything else that you would like to say?
That I'm very proud of my students. This is, I believe, AP Bio is going to be their first AP test in high school, and they've worked really hard this year. I'm just very proud of them and all the effort that they've put in, all the creativity that they've put in this year. And I'm just very proud and honored to be their teacher.
Thank you, Ms. Viste. Next, we will interview Ms. Parker, the teacher of AP Seminar and AP Research at BST. For each class that you teach, what topics and concepts are the most important to know for the AP tests and finals?
Great question. The really cool thing about AP Research is there is no exam at the end of the course. It is just the year-long research and presentation that is all completed during class time. So once that is over in mid-April, that is it. But in order to complete that and do it well, I think a few topics that are really important to know are just what is necessary for the research that you're completing, because AP Research does have so much freedom within the course of students being able to choose what they want to research and how they want to research it. You just have to become really well versed in the discipline to know what the standards are, and to know how to fit within that discipline and make sure that you're doing it all properly. So there's a lot of research, no pun intended, that does go along with that class and just being familiar with it. And then in terms of what's important for the presentation, it is really just confidence and memorization of everything you've been working towards. So it's just making sure to take time to practice and run through your presentation so you're not over-reliant on your slides or your note cards. And then in terms of AP Seminar, we do have components that we complete during class, but for the end of course exams, I'd say the most important concepts to know are how to track credibility and relevancy of sources, since that is such an integral component of not only the essays, but also the end of course exams. And also being able to follow line of reasoning of the sources that are being used, because for both EOC Part A and B, there's an evaluation component, and then there's also a free response question. Both of them do require you to not only be able to pinpoint someone else's line of reasoning within their argument, and then also in EOCB, create your own line of reasoning. So I think those are both really important, and then just knowing how to synthesize all of the different perspectives that are, again, either within someone else's work or you creating and synthesizing your own work and all the sources that you're using. Unfortunately, because both courses do provide the documents that you are analyzing and evaluating the day of, there's no really way to study for it. It's mostly just practice and repetition in kind of going through the motions of seeing what makes strong arguments, what makes weak ones, and knowing how to give feedback to make arguments stronger.
What is the format of the finals and AP tests for the classes you teach?
For AP research, as mentioned, there is no final. So once the paper, it is a 5,000 word paper, so that is pretty bulky, and a 15 to 20 minute presentation. Once those are done, you're finished for the course. But for AP seminar, the format is a 2-hour sit-down digital test, and you'll complete both Part A and Part B within those 2 hours. EOC A, you get a short article that is an argumentative article, and then you have to complete 3 questions for it. And then for EOC-B, you get 4 stimulus documents, and within them you have to pinpoint a topic or theme that is present in at least 2 of them, and then develop your own argumentative essay. So it is 2 hours. It's suggested you spend about 30 to 40 minutes on A and about an hour and a half to an hour and 20 on EOC-B, but it is just 2 hours and then you're done.
What do you believe are the best methods to study for finals and AP tests for the classes you teach?
For AP seminar, again, it really is just skill-based. So since there's not like material or like concepts or topics that you have to memorize because you get new articles every time, it is really just practice and repetition. And luckily for us, we'll have at least 2 weeks to practice and different articles and being able to write our own. So it is practice and just making sure you are looking closely, but also out of the box to make sure that for EOC-B specifically, you're coming up with a unique topic theme that will then lead to a unique argument.
Is there anything else that you would like to say?
Just don't doubt yourself for both classes. We've been working all year on these skills, so you've got this. Good luck. Make sure to practice, my AP seminar students, and you will do just fine.
Thank you, Ms. Parker. Next, we will interview Ms. Bouchard, who teaches Advanced Cybersecurity Honors, AP Calculus AB, and Integrated Math 2 Honors. For each class you teach, what topics and concepts are the most important to know for the AP test and finals?
So for IM2 honors, I think the main thing is quadratics is the most important thing that will be used into AP Calc. So we're going to do like a final that highlights all the most important things in order to move on. And then for cybersecurity, we have a huge like MCQ final, and that's just, to me, you have to keep practicing overall like data analysis, alert analysis, things like that. And for AP Calc, I divided into 2 main topics as integration and derivatives. And really all the questions just come back to those 2 concepts and be able to apply it.
What is the format of the finals and AP tests for the classes that you teach?
So the finals for each of my classes are going to be, well, for AP Calc is going to be a project since they have an AP test. That AP test has 2 parts, FRQ and MCQ. Both of those parts are divided into calculator and no calculator. And then for the final for IM2 honors, it's just going to be a group project going over the most important topics. And then for cybersecurity, the final is going to be that huge MCQ to help them practice for like certification tests.
What do you believe are the best methods to study for the finals and AP tests for the classes you teach?
So since my finals are more project-based, that's not really a worry. But for the AP test, for AP Calc, I think the biggest thing is practice. Because I think a lot of the AP test is learning how the questions are worded and what they're asking for, because it's not just as straightforward as a usual math class. It's worded in a way to make you think. And I think for the FRQs especially, there's like 8 different main topics. So if you practice those 8 different main topics of FRQs, you'll be so ready that when you see it, it'll just be like, oh yeah, I've done this before.
Is there anything else that you'd like to say?
Honestly, I think everyone's going to do really, really good. I don't want anyone to just get in their head. I think that's the biggest thing of AP tests, especially for the AP Calc test, is a lot of kids shut down because it's so many problems and not that much time. And I don't want kids to just shut down because I know they can do it because we've been doing it for the whole year. So honestly, just stay strong, take a breath. You just have to get like 40% of the test to be able to pass. So it's okay, don't freak out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, we will interview Mr. Huxell, who teaches English 9 Honors and AP English Language and Composition. For each class that you teach, what topics and concepts are the most important to know for the AP test and finals?
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks for having me on, you guys. I think, especially with AP Lang, we've tried to cycle through all the different essay types that they're going to see on the test. So there's 3 different timed rights: argument, synthesis, and rhetorical analysis. And each one kind of has different skills attached to it. And really, the best way to study for that, I think, would be to just kind of look at all the different past prompts, all the previous prompts, and at least give it an outline of how you think you would answer it. So you can kind of see what the College Board might throw at you. As far as my English 9 Honors class, topics to study, I think it's going to be a timed right. It's going to be a timed right for the final. Obviously, there's no AP test for that class, but it is going to be a timed right, and it's going to be one of the different types of essays that we've written so far this year. So argumentative, probably won't be a research, but something like that. Yeah.
What is the format of the finals and AP tests for the classes you teach?
Yeah, so the format for my finals for both my classes are both going to be timed rights. They're going to look a little different. So for Lang, we'll have already taken the AP test about a week prior. So for that, I do want to kind of start to prep them for what they're going to be seeing in AP AP Lit next year, AP Literature. So with that, there's going to be some kind of timed right. I don't want to reveal too much, but same with my freshmen. We'll have a timed right on finals day. And really the key to that is time management, right? Being able to manage your time, say everything you want to say, leave yourself at least, 2-3 minutes to revise and look back and be like, okay, this makes sense, right? I have a clear line of reasoning in my argument. I brought up the evidence that I wanted to bring up, and I'm proud of this. So, yeah.
What do you believe are the best methods to study for the finals and AP tests for the classes that you teach?
Yeah, great question. So I think, especially with AP, try to chunk it out little by little and start now, right? So start now, reviewing, going over. I've given them a lot of different sentence frames that they can use, especially for commentary and analysis and things like that. So, commit those to memory and then look at different prompts. Again, look at different student samples and things like that both that I've given you, and then there's a ton available online that you can go and you can look at past prompts. So I would say to not wait until the last minute, right? Kind of chunk it out, start now, little by little, start studying. I think that cram time at the very end is still important, but don't make that your only study resource.
Is there anything else that you would like to say?
Yeah, I'd just like to encourage you guys. I think especially my freshmen here taking their first AP test. I know it's not my class, but I know you guys got a few on your plate here. So just wanted to encourage you. I've tried to let them know, I took multiple AP tests and I'm still standing, I'm still here, right? It's not the end of the world. And then, by your junior year, it'll be like second nature. So, you guys got this. We're all rooting for you. And yeah, excited to see what happens.
Thanks for listening, guys. Tune in next time for the next episode in this series, What to Study for Finals and AP Tests Part 2.
And remember, be your best at BST.